Secret identity reset for people who feel nothing, want nothing, and don't recognize themselves anymore. Be careful with this video. If your goals feel empty, your friendships feel off, and your old life suddenly feels like it belongs to a stranger, this isn't you going numb. It's your false self dying. Watch it till the end, if you're ready to stop forcing the old you and let the version that actually feels like you finally come online. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange numbness, that disconnection from things that used to excite you. Goals that once drove you now feel empty. Conversations that used to energize you now drain you. Hobbies you loved feel pointless. Even your dreams, the ones you've been chasing for years, suddenly feel like they belong to someone else. You're not depressed. You're not broken. You're not losing yourself. You're shedding a version of yourself that was never really you to begin with. This is one of the most misunderstood phases of transformation. When you start losing interest in everything, when nothing feels right anymore, most people panic. They think something is wrong with them. They try to force themselves back into old routines, old relationships, old goals. They try to reignite passion for things that no longer fit. But what if this emptiness isn't a problem? What if it's the most important signal you could receive? If this is landing for you right now, make sure you're subscribed so these messages can keep reaching you exactly when you need them most. The death of the false self. Here's what's really happening. Your old life is ending. Not the surface details of your life, but the internal structure. The identity you built to survive, to belong, to be accepted, to avoid rejection. That identity is dissolving. For years, maybe decades, you've been living according to a script you didn't write. You pursued goals because you thought you should. You maintained relationships because you felt obligated. You stayed in situations because leaving felt too scary or too selfish. You performed a version of yourself that kept other people comfortable, and somewhere along the way, you forgot what actually lights you up. You forgot what you genuinely want, separate from what you've been conditioned to want. Now your body is rejecting the performance. Your nervous system is saying, "I can't do this anymore." Your soul is saying, "This isn't it." That's why nothing feels right. You're not meant to go back to who you were. You're meant to discover who you actually are underneath all the programming. The void before the breakthrough. This phase feels like standing in a void. You look at your life and you don't recognize it anymore. The job that once gave you purpose now feels like you're going through the motions. The relationships that once felt essential now feel obligatory. The goals you work toward now seem irrelevant. And the terrifying part? You don't know what comes next. You don't have a clear vision yet. You don't have a new dream to chase. You don't have a replacement identity waiting in the wings. You're just empty, waiting, floating in this strange in-between space where your old life doesn't fit, but your new life hasn't formed yet. Most people run from this void. They fill it with distractions, new projects, new relationships, anything to avoid sitting in the emptiness. They convince themselves they just need a change of scenery, a new hobby, a fresh start. But the void isn't asking you to fill it. It's asking you to empty out completely. This is the sacred pause, the reset, the clearing. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it feels like dying, because in a way it is. The old you is dying so the real you can emerge. Your frequency is outgrowing your life. Listen to this carefully. You're not losing interest in everything because something is wrong with you. You're losing interest because your frequency has changed. Think of it like this. Everything in your life up until now was tuned to a certain vibration. Your friendships, your career, your routines, your goals, even your personality. All of it was matched to the frequency of who you used to be. But you've been evolving, you've been healing, you've been waking up, and as your internal frequency rises, everything that's vibrating at the old level starts to feel wrong. It's not that those things became bad, it's that they're no longer a match. Your soul is too expanded now for the life you built when you were smaller. That's why conversations feel shallow. That's why your routine feels suffocating. That's why your goals feel meaningless. You've outgrown the container, and your body knows it before your mind does. The disinterest you're feeling isn't apathy, it's discernment. Your system is saying, "This no longer serves where I'm going." The people who suddenly feel distant. You've probably noticed that certain people feel different now. Friends you used to talk to every day now feel like strangers. Family dynamics that you accepted for years now feel unbearable. Romantic connections that once felt deep now feel surface level. And here's the part that might feel harsh. You're starting to see people clearly, not through the lens of who you wanted them to be, or who they could be, or who they used to be. You're seeing them for who they actually are right now. Some of them are still growing. Some of them stopped growing years ago. Some of them are invested in you staying the same because your growth makes them uncomfortable. You're not being judgmental. You're being honest. And that honesty is showing you that many of your connections were built on a version of you that no longer exists. You bonded over shared pain, shared dysfunction, shared limitations. You stayed close because it was familiar, not because it was nourishing. Now you're changing, and those connections are revealing themselves for what they are: placeholders. They were never meant to go the distance with you. They were only meant to teach you what you needed to learn so you'd be ready for the people who actually match your energy. Letting go doesn't mean you hate them. It means you're finally prioritizing alignment over history. Your nervous system is rewiring. Here's what people don't tell you about transformation. It's not just mental, it's not just emotional, it's neurological. Your brain has been wired to seek out what's familiar, even if what's familiar is painful. It's wired to keep you safe by keeping you the same. So when you start to change, when you start to outgrow your life, your nervous system panics. It interprets the unknown as danger. It floods you with anxiety, with doubt, with the urge to go back to what you know. It makes everything feel flat, meaningless, pointless, because it's trying to convince you that staying where you are is safer than stepping into the unknown. But here's the truth. Your nervous system isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. It just doesn't understand that what you're moving toward is better than what you're leaving behind. Right now, your nervous system is recalibrating. It's learning to feel safe in uncertainty. It's learning to trust the process of becoming. It's learning that you can lose interest in your old life and still be okay. That you can let go of what no longer serves you and not fall apart. This recalibration takes time. It takes patience. And yes, it takes sitting in the discomfort of not knowing what comes next. The emptiness is making space. You've been taught to fear emptiness, to avoid it, to fill every gap, every silence, every moment of uncertainty with something, anything, just so you don't have to sit with the void. But what if the emptiness isn't the problem? What if it's the solution? You can't fill a cup that's already full. You can't plant new seeds in soil that's still cluttered with old roots. You can't step into a new life while you're still clinging to the old one. The universe is clearing you out. It's removing your attachment to things that were never meant to stay. It's dissolving your interest in paths that were never truly yours. It's creating space for something new, something real, something aligned. But first, you have to be willing to stand in the emptiness without trying to escape it. This is where most people fail. They get to the void and they panic. They grab onto the first thing that feels remotely familiar just to feel grounded again. They go back to the ex. They take the job they don't want. They force themselves to care about things they've clearly outgrown. And in doing that, they delay their transformation. They postpone their breakthrough. They trap themselves in a life that's already ending. You're not doing that. You're staying in the void, and that takes courage. The sign that you're ready. Here's the thing about losing interest in everything. It only happens when you're ready for what's next. Your soul doesn't disconnect you from your old life prematurely. It doesn't strip away your attachments before you're strong enough to stand without them. There's a timing to this, a readiness, a ripeness. You wouldn't be feeling this emptiness if you weren't prepared to handle what comes after it. You wouldn't be losing interest in your old life if your new life wasn't already forming in the invisible. You're not wandering aimlessly. You're in the cocoon. You're in the chrysalis. And from the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. It looks like you're stuck, stagnant, lost. But inside, you're being completely rebuilt. Your values are shifting. Your priorities are rearranging. Your definition of success, love, happiness, fulfillment, all of it is being rewritten. And when you emerge from this phase, you won't recognize yourself. You'll look back at who you used to be and wonder how you ever lived that way. What's actually coming? You don't need to know the details yet. You don't need to have the new vision fully formed. You don't need a 5-year plan or a clear next step. Right now, all you need to do is trust that your disinterest is directional. It's pointing you away from what's no longer aligned. It's guiding you out of situations, relationships, and identities that were built on old versions of you. It's creating the conditions for something truer, something deeper, something that actually matches who you're becoming. What's coming won't look like what you've known. It won't be a slightly improved version of your current life. It will be fundamentally different. New people, new opportunities, new ways of being that you can't even imagine yet because you're still operating from the old framework. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself. And the version of you that's emerging on the other side of this void will be so aligned, so clear, so grounded in truth, that you'll understand why everything had to fall away first. It's already happening. Your old life is ending. Not someday, now. The fact that you're losing interest, that nothing feels right anymore, that you're questioning everything, that's not a crisis. That's confirmation. You're in the transition. You're in the death and rebirth cycle. And the discomfort you're feeling is the labor pain of your transformation. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to let go. Let go of the need to know. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the version of yourself that's already gone. Trust that the emptiness is temporary. Trust that the void is productive. Trust that your soul knows exactly what it's doing. Your new life is forming, and when it's ready, it will find you. Not because you chased it, but because you finally became the person who's ready to receive it. This is your sign. Your old life is ending, and that's exactly what needs to happen.